A father recounted the terrifying moments his 5-year-old son was swept by destructive tides from the roof of a home in Murphytown, Abaco, as Hurricane Dorin crushed homes, uprooted trees, flattened churches, and buried the town he once called home in a watery grave. 38-year-old Adrian Farrington, who injured his right hand and leg during the ordeal, has been recovering at the Princess Margaret Hospital since Monday. His son, Adrian Jr., disappeared under the mounds of debris that floated on top of the water sometime on Sunday and hasn't been seen since.
I just hope they find him. I just hope they find him. Because a 5-year-old in that kind of search, they don't stand much a chance.
Farrington said his family, including his wife and their 2 children, were forced to go into the catastrophic conditions after their home had become compromised. They sought refuge in a nearby home, but soon had to abandon that as well.
We had to exit that house, and we went to higher ground to a different house, which had a manhole. Take my wife, take her son and my son. I put them up inside the manhole. We were safe there for a while till the water started to enter the manhole.
He said after he and his family abandoned a 3rd home, a piece of debris sparred his leg, hampering an already chaotic and tedious journey. As his leg bled and he struggled to stay afloat, his son held tightly onto his back. Farrington said he saw a truly horrific sight.
After about an hour of treading water and bleeding, I noticed I saw some fins swimming along the houses. So I grabbed my son and I put him on top of the roof. But before I could have sit on the roof to hold him, the gusts from the hurricane dragged him across the roof, back into the search on the next side. By the time I come down, try to move debris and get back around, I come on down and I couldn't see, so I was like feeling, see if I could feel some kind of cloth, some kind of clothes, some kind of skin, flesh, tennis, something. I ain't find nothing. Come back up. I hold my breath and I come back down again. All this time, people carrying my wife to safety and they calling me. But I ain't want to go because I didn't want to leave my son. Keep looking for him. I keep looking for him.
Exhausted and hopeless, Farrington said he took off again on his own, desperately trying to get to higher ground, but when he got there, he couldn't walk. Farrington said he had to crawl on his stomach towards a nearby church where about 8 to 12 people were seeking shelter.
The wall of the church was moving like when you put cloth on the line on a breezy day. So after I noticed the wall was shaking so much, I moved from a seated position to a standing position with the entrance of the door right there. And when I feel the wall pushing me, all I do is I hold on the wall and I get in the entrance of the door. And everybody else who's inside, they run to try to hold the wall. And I watch the wall and the roof crush everybody inside the church. There's a guy, I could have seen him. I tap on him, I ask him if he's okay. I ain't getting a response. I didn't want to stay there, so I creeped from there.
Farrington said he also watched as a man seemed to give up on life after the cries from his family who had been trapped inside a water-filled home dried up. But he said it's the last memory of his son that keeps him up at night.
I still can remember him reaching for me, calling me, "Daddy!" I just hope they find him. I just hope they find him. Because a 5-year-old in that kind of search, they don't stand much a chance.
Hurricane Dorin is the strongest storm to ever make landfall in the northern Bahamas. Farrington, who weathered the elements for several hours until he was rescued, said no one could have prepared for the terror brought on by the killer storm.
The shelters where they send people crush people. Homes where they say was safe wasn't safe. The school where they say is a shelter, it ain't had no shelter because the roof get blow up. What the surge didn't destroy, the winds destroy.
For the Guardian News Network, I'm Jillian Gray.